or most poles. Might not sound like much, but one bonus point could be the difference between a championship and second place in 6 nights' time up at the South Boston Speedway. So already thinking points here this afternoon at Wake County. As Charlie alluded to here at the track, I am Tony Stevens, and I've got some friends with me, the first of which is up here in the booth, Mr. Steve Post from the Motor Racing Network, and it looks like 4 o'clock. Wow, all right, so we got a few extra minutes here to get some things rolling, and that means maybe since we're on air on Facebook now that we can send our other friend for some stories down the pit lane. But Steve Post up here with me, and wow, you hardly think about a qualifying session, 2 races from the first race or last race of the year mattering for the championship. But here we are, and somebody's lap could lock them in to that extra bonus point for the championship in 6 nights' time.
That's just how tight this thing is. In fact, between first and second place, Bobby McCarty and Caden Honeycutt, it is just that 1 point potentially the difference between them, but it's not just those 2 drivers. Justin Johnson is 12 points back. Jared FRYAR is 20 points back. And when we just look at it, all are 3 of the top 3 drivers. In fact, when we look at the number of pole wins, Bobby McCarty has 1 pole, Caden Honeycutt has 1 pole, Justin Johnson has 1 pole this season. So, consequently, this qualifying session could be the difference between 1 point, and 1 point could be the difference between a championship and not. So, it has been an amazing season, a very competitive season with the Solid Rock Carrier Cars Tour, and that's what it comes down to. Every lap, every qualifying session is going to matter, and then we get into this race on this racetrack, America's favorite bull ring. I am telling you, this race has got everybody's attention because there's a lot in your control, but there's a lot out of your control. So qualifying is so important today. Maybe you can tend to the pace of the race with a good qualifying run. If you end up in the middle of the pack, you could be in a lot of trouble back there because this is a bull ring.
Oh, it's a bull ring. And in the middle of that bull ring is the third member of our crew this afternoon. Also from MRN Radio, you may have seen him in the past on NBC Sports, one Alex Hayden. Alex, who and what you got down there?
Hey, I've got the driver you were talking about, Justin Johnson, 12 points out. There's a point up for grabs here in qualifying. You did have the practice session this afternoon. Big question, did you get the car where you wanted it?
Yeah, I think we have a really good race car. Don't know that we'll have the qualifying speed to go after that 1 point, but feel like we're in really good shape for race trend and, looking forward to tonight's race.
How important is it to get a car dialed in a tough little racetrack that is America's favorite bull ring in Raleigh County Speedway?
Yeah, it's extremely important. Tire wear is going to come to a factor, and, whoever can keep the rear tires on it the best and still put the power down at the end of the night is going to be in victory lane.
All the best to you.
Thank you, sir.
That's Justin Johnson, guys. He's patiently awaiting, just like everybody else, to try to get these cars on the track to go qualifying here at Wake County.
Yeah, the schedule originally at 3:45, and to show you how tight this bull ring is, we couldn't get cars around other cars in the tech line. So we've had to add a couple of minutes to the schedule just to get cars through tech, and that tells you just how small of a racetrack this is. We refer to it as a quarter mile, Steve, but this racetrack, technically not even a full quarter mile. Depending on the measurement you use, it is 0.24 or 0.23 on the measurement. You don't get much smaller than this, and that's around the outside wall, not the inside.
My kind of racetrack. Boy, I'll tell you what, I grew up on the bull rings on the dirt tracks up in upstate New York and northeastern Pennsylvania, and I've always been a fan of smaller racetracks or better racetracks. Now, this is the extreme when it comes to asphalt racetracks. This is the extreme track that we'll visit here with the Cars Tour, and it is a different style of racing. Next week, they'll be on the big half mile or 5/8 mile, whatever it is, up at South Boston. That'll seem like a super speedway compared to where we're at now. But as is the case, as we see in every form of racing, it's that diversity. Are you good on the short tracks? Are you good on the speedways? NASCAR, are you good on a dirt track or a road course or a super speedway? This is the type of skills that the young drivers need to have. These are the type of skills that the veteran drivers need to overcome if they want to be a Cars Tour champion.
Absolutely. And speaking of young and veteran drivers, we'll send our Alex Hayden down to find one of them yet again down the pit lane. Alex?
I would put him in the veteran category. Speaking of Deke McCaskill from Raleigh, North Carolina. Deke, 1991 through 1994. You raced here at this place every weekend. How much has this place changed now that you've been out here for practice today?
Not a whole lot, man. I tell you, it's been a long time ago, but we still got a lot of great memories and still know how to get around here. Just got to set a good pace in the race and hopefully get a good starting position in qualifying here, maybe in the top 5, and just set a good pace there and keep the tires on it and see what we got, man. I'm really excited about today's race. Thanks, Puryear Tank Line's enough for all their help and coming on board with us and the sponsorship for this race today. So appreciate all his help.
How do you balance it here in qualifying? Because you've got to start the race on this same set of tires. No tire changes unless you cut something down. But how do you balance how hard you go in qualifying?
It don't really hurt it, these 3 laps just in qualifying. So you want to try to get up there and go after that $250 pole award. That's one thing. And just hopefully get inside the top 5. You don't want to get too far back there. And got a lot going on this little quarter-mile track. So we'll see what happens. We're excited to get going.
Absolutely right. He's a hometown favorite. Deke McCaskill getting set to jump aboard the race car here in just a couple of moments. And guys, he says the magic thing. Hey, there's $250 up for grabs for qualifying here. Sure, there's a championship point, but racers, it's the old montage. Speed costs money. How fast do you want to go?
Money is the key.
Money is the key.
Boy, there's some money on the line tonight, too.
Oh, yes, there is. $10,000 up for grabs. Biggest purse for a Puryear, or I think any race here at the Wake County Speedway in its history. So, first Sunday race, biggest purse ever. Who knows what else we're going to have? We might have some other history-making stuff here at America's favorite bull ring.
Yeah, the folks at Puryear Tank Lines, man, they have come on, and Puryear Trucking, they have just come on full-born, and we see their name on the side of race cars all the time. But they have just rolled up their sleeves and said, okay, we're going to salute. We're going to marquee this event. They added all kinds of money. Yeah, the winner shares $10,000, but there's extra money for second, extra money for third. There's been a lot of promotion around this. They're here. They're meeting with the race fans right now. I am telling you, this thing is really stacked up. And when we look at this, juggling the $10,000 to win with a point battle has certainly got a lot of attention as well, because you got some guys that they're not in the points battle. So 10 grand means 10 grand to them. You got some guys that, 10 grand would be good, but I kind of have this point battle too. And it is going to make this afternoon of this evening's race just fascinating to see how this plays out. And it's because so much money on the line. $250 for this qualifying run, $10,000 to win the feature tonight.
Pretty doggone sporty. And speaking of people who are winners, we've got another one down there with Alex Hayden. Alex?
That's LAYNE Riggs down here. Unfortunately, not really been the type of season you've been looking for. But on a good note, that gives you the opportunity to not worry about points and just chase wins, correct?
That's right. That's what we're here for, to win here tonight at Wake County and try to put our Puryear Tank Line car in victory lane. Thanks to Puryear Tank Lines, Donnie Puryear, for putting up this money for this race and getting all these great cars out here. Good race, little tight bull ring. It's a little smaller than what I'm used to, but I think all the fans here in Raleigh are going to enjoy it. Everybody at home on Cars Tour TV is going to enjoy the race, so I'm looking forward to it.
You mentioned you might need to get aggressive. Okay, that's part of it. Do you really get aggressive early, or is there a specific lap where it's like, okay, now it's time to amp things up just a bit?
Well, I mean, it is a pretty hard, the track's pretty hard on tires, so we just have to be easy in the beginning, just kind of work your way towards it. And if you have a car in the end that can, go through people and go to the front, we're going to try to do that.
LAYNE Riggs ready to go here at Wake County.
I heard some magic words. I don't know if it was a slip by LAYNE Riggs or not, but I heard the words "go through people."
Oh, boy.
I don't know if that's indicative of what may happen tonight or not.
Tony, come on. Now, they would never go through people here. Oh, my gosh. Well, now, make sure, I am fairly confident that the fender brackets on the front end of these cars have all been checked, and probably the fender brackets on the back of these cars have been checked as well. They're going to wrinkle some fenders today. That's just the reality. This racetrack's smaller than a quarter mile. Here's just, you can't get away from each other. You're going to be on top of each other. You're going to be in the middle of cars. You qualify on the pole. You do everything right. You qualify on the pole. You're going to have to deal with lap traffic. So you're going to deal with cars, and when you're dealing with other cars that don't want to get lapped, cars that want to win $10,000 at the end, cars that have all kinds of other plans, maybe a car that's faster than you, you might get into it, and I don't think that was a slip of the tongue. I think that what LAYNE Riggs said, Tony, was probably a foreshadowing of something we may see here later on tonight.
I don't know why we would ever think that at all. But, the other thing, too, you talk about guys who are at the tail of the field. We saw this at Florence last week, and we may see it here. A guy in the back on lap number 50 or 60 may be the guy up front by lap 125. So you definitely want to stay on the lead lap if you find yourself in that position, and you can definitely pass here. We saw that a couple of years ago when the Tour was last year. Sam Mayer rocketed himself to victory after starting deep in the field. His teammate Josh Berry started shotgun that day and came up to about second or third before he had a mechanical failure that put him out of the race. You can definitely pass here, and Alex Hayden has found somebody else that's hoping they don't have to pass anybody, but hopefully can start this thing up front. Alex?
Based off of qualifying, we'll wait and find out what kind of lap Andrew Grady will put down as he gets set Practice, how was the race car?
The race car was really good. Really consistent. Just throttle control. Throttle control is going to be a big part in this race, saving your tires, really taking care of your stuff. It's a bull ring, and it's America's favorite bull ring for a reason. And as long as we keep the nose on it, we should be in good shape tonight, I think.
Let's talk about throttle control, because so many people can say, okay, you drive the car as hard as you can down the straightaway, roll out of the gas, stand on the brakes. It's not quite that simple. You can do other things to slow the car down.
Oh, yeah, you can do tons of things. You can change your braking points. You can change where you get out the throttle out, how hard you get. You can do a lot of things in these cars that a lot of people really don't realize. We have brake adjusters in these things, and we can make a little adjustment here and there in the caution if needed. And this racetrack's really interesting, and it's going to create some great racing tonight for us.
Where do you expect to be, and where do you want to be when qualifying rolls around? Do you have a number in mind?
Top 5. Definitely put me in the top 5, and we'll put on a show tonight for you, for sure.
No doubt. There he is, Andrew Grady, ready to go. He's a driver that's won before. He's won at Southern National Motorsports Park, not too terribly far away from here, where we are in Garner, North Carolina.
Yeah, just about an hour or so down the road. Missed going down to Southern National. We opened the 2020 season over there, and then the 2020 season B started about 3 months later. But it was a good race. We missed going there. Hopefully, when the new schedule comes out, who knows? Maybe we'll be at Southern National, and we anticipate that new schedule coming out hopefully within the next handful of weeks from the Solid Rock Carriers Cars Tour. I have talked to a couple of the tracks and a couple of folks. I think there'll be maybe a surprise or two, but nothing really major. Ultimately, it's still going to be a solid schedule, no doubt.
One of the things I love, and I jump in here on you on this, Andrew Grady, not one of our regular touring drivers. He's a local driver from Youngsville, North Carolina. As Alex mentioned, he's a former winner at Southern National. And I just love this because we've got a couple of local drivers that are going to try to crack into this. I was talking to I think he's going to be the first car on the track, as a matter of fact, Daniel VUNCANNON, and he's been racing here all year. He finished 3rd in points. He said, I love that the Cars Tour is here because these guys are the best. They're the best late model stock drivers. I'm 3rd best at Wake County. What does that mean? I'm 3rd best at Wake County. He said, I may learn tonight that I'm 3rd best of all late model stock drivers. I may learn that I'm 50th best tonight, and it's so exciting about this, and that's why we've got a couple of the local stars here from Wake County. I just think that sets us up well, and what does that track advantage they have today or this season help them? There's a lot of neat things that are on play here tonight, and including guys like Alex just talked to, Andrew Grady, a guy we don't talk to on the Cars Tour because this is, I think, his first run with the Cars Tour, but he's a local boy looking to make it big here tonight. Yeah,
and once we fire the first car up, Steve, those watching at home, you can see on the screen the 4 most recent pole winners in the Solid Rock Carriers Cars Tour, and you notice there's no repeats there. Josh Berry, Kyle Dudley, Minnie Tyrrell, Zach Miracle, and yes, the 50 car of Daniel VUNCANNON would love to add his name to that list as he will come around to start the dead lap, if you will, on his number 50 car. Next time by, the green flag will be out, and it'll be the best of the 2 laps that'll count towards his qualification time.
He's a 3rd-generation racer from Fuquay, Varina, North Carolina. His father raced before him. In 2020, he started racing with the Chargers up at Carteret County. Moved to late model stocks last year. Of course, last year was a weird season, and so he bounced around, but this year, 3rd in points here at Wake County Speedway. While he's completing his qualifying run, let's go back to Alex Hayden.
Bobby McCarty down here, and Bobby, championship's tight. 1 race to go after tonight. How important is this championship point for qualifying?
Every point helps, especially racing against these guys. They're really tough. They run real consistent, so you need every point that you can get. So, and then we got really fast autos by Nelson, Solid Rock Carriers, Camaro, and we'll see what we can do. Advantage or disadvantage to go out as late as you are in the order? Today with, the sun is being pretty cloudy, it's not really going to be no different. If it was sunny and hot, then I'd say it's an advantage to be out here. But with the way the weather's been today, it's not going to be no different.
Bobby McCarty, guys, knows how to win a Cars Tour championship. He's going to try to get some more points, maybe even another win here at Wake.
Thank you, Alex. As Joe Valento is on track, VUNCANNON's lap currently standing, at least for the moment, for the Hedgecock pole. And Valento's first lap will be the lap of record at a 13.506. Track seems to ultimately, which is kind of weird. A lot of folks thinking the pole might be in the 12.8s, 12.9s, but we'll see how it plays out as Ethan Johnson is on track. Steve, driver out of Apex, North Carolina.
Yes, indeed. He is second in the points here, had 4 wins this season at Wake County, and that is another one of those local drivers trying to see how he stacks up against the Cars Tour. He's a former winner over at Hickory Motor Speedway, and he is now coming around to the white flag, going to get his first lap in. First lap is 13.442. That drops him in second behind Daniel VUNCANNON, ahead of Joe Valento. We'll see how he does into this turn number 3. Up off from turn number 4. Here he comes down to the checkered flag.
Second lap for Ethan Johnson, faster at a 13.409. Still, though, good for second fastest overall behind Daniel VUNCANNON. So if I'm VUNCANNON, I might feel kind of good right now. I've held off 2 challengers so far, but maybe the first touring regular with a shot to knock him off the provisional Hedgecock pole is on track now from literally across the street on 401. This is the 08 of Deke McCaskill, the Puryear Trucking Wayland Geospatial Chevrolet, and Deke is now on the clock.
Deke would love to get that hometown win. This is such a special track for him, and yes, he goes right to the top of the speed charts, 13.117. Not only his home track, as far as living a mile, it's where he met his wife.
Oh,
I mean, this is where he met his wife at Wake County Speedway, so he'd like nothing more to take his wife to victory lane. Well, he'd like that $10,000 check as well.
Well, right now he's on pace for the 250 for the Hedgecock pole, 13.091, the lap of record. That will be the provisional pole for Deke McCaskill, so things looking good for the driver of the 08. Next up to give him a challenge, first race back after missing a couple with the Tour at Motor Mile and at Florence. This is Manassas, Virginia's Mason Diaz. And while Mason is on his qualification effort, let's head down yet again to Alex Hayden.
Talked about Daniel VUNCANNON. Well, good lap when you went out there. It held up for a bit. How is the race car? You're a regular here at Wake County. What's it like to be able to compete here in the Cars Tour?
Oh, well, it means a lot to compete with these guys. They're the best of the best. I mean, they're professionals. We're really excited to be here. My lap time really wasn't that good. I lost a lot of drive between practice and now, but it's all right. We'll be all right during the race, I believe.
There you go, Daniel VUNCANNON. He was the first driver to go out and take a time here this afternoon. He kind of understood where he's at. He's a regular here at Wake County, 3rd in championship points here in 2021.
Thank you, Alex. As Mason Diaz on his second lap, Steve, put it at the top of the board, a 13.077. The new mark to beat, as Bristow, Virginia's Jonathan Finley is now on track and currently P3.
Jonathan Finley, 3 top 10 finishes and 11 starts this year. The 22-year-old brings her down into turn number 3. Solid Rock Carriers, a sponsor on the car. Finley was 3rd on the first lap, and he stays 3rd, although a little bit quicker. 13.176. 13.176 for Jonathan Finley.
So good run for Finley, puts him about mid-pack for the moment. One of the championship contenders on the Speedway now, out of Aledo, Texas, and a Justin Johnson Racing, Puryear Tank Lines and GXS Wraps automobile. This is Caden Honeycutt. 1 point out of the championship lead and the most recent winner on the tour.
Caden has 1 pole this season already this year. He'd like to get that second win, 2 wins, including the last time out at Florence Motor Speedway. First lap is going to be 3rd fastest for Caden Honeycutt. He's on the backstretch into the gas, into turn number 3 now. They get around here in a hurry, that's for sure. Honeycutt up from turn number 4. We'll see what he does. He stays 3rd. 13.106. 13.106 for Caden Honeycutt. Oh, dirt tracking it is Brandon Pierce.
I don't think that's an accident. You got not a lot of time to get a lot of heat in the tires, and Pierce may be trying to do just that. Runner-up at Florence 1 week ago was Brandon Pierce. Best career finish since his win at Southern National a couple of seasons ago, and he now is on the clock for the first of 2 timed laps here for Hedgecock pole qualifying. Don't be surprised. He was working on it really hard Friday. If he can put this thing top of the board, first lap, though, only 5th fastest at a 13.236.
Drives for Lee Pulliam. Lee finished 2nd in that Cars Tour race back a few years ago here, so certainly knows his way around, does the car owner. We'll see what Brandon Pierce does. He got it down on the apron coming off from turn number 4. Was it quick? Well, he was able, no, he stayed put right there, fifth fastest, 13.236. As we roll along here in qualifying, Justin Johnson's on the racetrack. Alex Hayden is pit side.
With the driver that's currently holding down the top spot, Mason Diaz, how good and how smooth was the lap?
Honestly, it wasn't that good. I overdrive turn 3 a little bit, got a little bit free going in, so I definitely left some on the table there. But our solid rock carriers is Chevy's pretty fast today, so we'll see what we can do. But happy with the lap, but hopefully it can hold.
Going to sit back and just kind of wait and see if his lap can hang on.
Well, so far for Justin Johnson, that lap's hanging on for Mason. Justin fifth fastest on lap number 1, 13.209. And Justin in the Westgate Cars, number 44, bumps it up 1 spot on the second trip around to the 4th position. So no extra pole in the bucket for neither he nor Caden Honeycutt. So that most poles award may move to South Boston, where that coveted bonus point is up for grabs. As Myrtle Beach, South Carolina's Sam Yarbrough now on the clock. 1 win at Myrtle Beach Speedway a number of years ago. First time, full time on the tour this year. Had a pretty good second half of the season. Let's see what he does here on the first and second lap.
37-year-old racer is 5th in the point standings. First lap is going to be 7th fastest at 13.320. Into turn number 3. We'll see how he fares this time off from turn number 4. Again, Myrtle Beach was his home track. That's a big old half mile. This is a quarter mile. He's going to go 5th fastest, 13.155.
Ran to Sam as soon as he came in the gate on Thursday. It's like, man, you ever been to a place like this? Said, not since I was go-kart racing. I've been somewhere this small. He's like, I don't know what to do. This is going to be a different experience. Well, we'll see how he fares. I'm sure he will figure it out. Another guy that's trying to figure it out on track now, the defending series champion. Mathematically, still very much in the hunt. Realistically, he's going to need a lot of help out of Trinity, North Carolina. The Sterling Building Group. Number 14, this is Jared Fryer, and lap number 1 for Jared Fryer puts him 5th quick.
5th quick. Jared Fryer has had a great season. You mentioned 4th in points in the playoff, in the championship battle. But I'll tell you, I think with $10,000 on the line, one thing that is missing from Jared's 2021 season is a win, and he would like nothing more than getting it tonight. Jared Fryer going to be 5th fastest is where he's going to stay. His lap of record, 13.143.
One of the most recent winners on the tour, now on track. Another driver out of Manassas, Virginia, in the number 81. Mini T's fastest grease in the East Chevrolet. This is Mini Tyrrell, and he now on the clock for the first of 2 time laps. Mini hadn't really been here since, I don't think he was even here in 2018. So it's his first trip here as well. And well, lap 1, Steve, he is struggling, 8th fastest overall.
Yes, he is. He needs to pick it up just a little bit. He's a 16-year-old. That win he had a couple of weeks ago, very, very popular. He picked it up, Tony. 13.007, 13.007. Mini Tyrrell to the top of the speed chart. Lane Riggs is working his way around the racetrack. Let's work our way down to Alex Hayden.
At Caden Honeycutt, who's sitting here, and he did the same thing we did with you guys, kind of raised the eyebrows on that lap by Mini Tyrrell. How was your qualifying lap?
It was okay. It's just very tight. You know, it's we've heard that from the locals. It's going to be a little bit snug to start, and that's how they were good at the end. But I don't know. It was just really tight right there. Hopefully, we'll be fixing the race, and we'll probably make an adjustment on air pressure or something. But still wasn't a bad lap from the cars that have gone. I imagine we'll be 5th, 6th, or 7th, somewhere around there. So we're not at the back. So we're just going to hope our race pace is good, and I think it is. So let's roll with it. And I just can't thank all my guys. They did a great job, and we're just going to try to go run for 10K here tonight.
That's Caden Honeycutt.
And while we were listening to Caden, Lane Riggs put it P2, Steve. 2nd fastest for one of the Puryear Tank Lines cars. So they're going to be happy down behind the Capital Chevrolet flag stand. And now one of the local hometown heroes on track again out of Youngsville. We talked to him earlier. This is number 1 of Andrew Grady. Here he is on lap 2.
Andrew Grady, 7th on his first lap, so a very respectable qualifying run. If he could pick it up, he said he'd like to do top 5. Needs to pick it up just a little bit. Here he comes off turn number 4. Grady down to the stripe, does not do that, but still very respectable lap, 13.130 for Andrew Grady. 7th fastest of the 14 cars that have gone so far. So that puts him right around the mid-pack range here, as we've got a little bit of a pause here, a little break in the action, something with Bobby McCarty. And there he goes. Now he gets her fired off.
Yeah, team attending to the hood pins there. Don't know what that was about, but clearly something they did not like or had to tend to at the very last second. But sounds like Hood may have actually been up on that car for some reason. So we'll see if there's any effect here on Bobby McCarty's qualifying lap as his dead lap has now commenced. And let's see what he can do on it. Looks like the car seems fine on track, but stopwatch will be the teller of the tale.
A two-time winner this year. He is the point leader right now. He is a two-time Cars Tour champion, so he certainly knows the rigors of a championship battle. And boy, this is one that he has got his attention. We know the Tour ends next week at South Boston, and he had a big win in their 200-lap race. We know he was good at South Boston, pretty good on that qualifying lap as well. Quick time for Bobby McCarty, and he's not done yet.
A full tenth faster than Mini Tyrrell was Bobby McCarty, and lap 2 is slower, but first lap, the lap of record, 12.905. Bobby McCarty making a statement that is not down and out in this championship by any means, as Connor Jones, who was fastest in practice on Friday night, he now on track for his time trial run.
The Jones Utility number 9 car makes his way around the Speedway. The kid out of Raleigh, North Carolina, races down into turn number 3. A lot of success in Bandoleros and Legends car racing. Ran down at the late model stock, or late model at the World Series of Racing. Had a great run down there in February at New Smyrna. And here he is now on his qualifying lap into turn number 3. Up off from turn number 4, Connor Jones, 13.13 on the first lap. Better on the second one, fourth fastest, 13.064. Great pickup for Connor Jones.
He'll be happy with that.
Yes, he will. Alex Hayden.
Mini Tyrrell, fantastic lap out there in your qualifying effort. Ushered to the side just a bit right now, but you got to be pleased with the speed in the race car.
Oh, yeah, it's not bad. I mean, we've been practicing on old tires all weekend. We never bolted a new set on, so we didn't quite know how fast it was going to go. So pretty good lap right there. I know Bobby, I mean, he put down one heck of a lap. So we'll see if we're going to have to chase him around, if we can keep up with him tonight. But we'll see what it's got. We're just going to have to ride and save our stuff and be there at the end.
Got to hang on, trying to stay inside the top 5.
Thank you, Alex. As Jonathan Schaefer out of Ashland, Ohio, finishes his time trial run.
Jonathan Schaefer, where is he? 13th fastest. 13th fastest for Jonathan Schaefer. 13th for Jonathan Schaefer, going to be 13.179, 13.179, and I do believe that the pit lane is open right now. So Jonathan Schaefer brings his car down to the attention of the crew.
And so that means this time trial session is over, Steve.
Yes, indeed.
So we had 18 cars enter, one unable to make the call.
I heard that during the driver's meeting. One was not able to make the call. So that is it, 17 cars. And congratulations down there for Bobby McCarty.
And here's what this means, too, Steve. I looked up. Mike Looney has 2 poles on the season.
That's right.
This is Bobby McCarty's second pole. So to be in the running for most poles, you needed to have 2 leaving Wake County, because we assume that Mike's going to be at South Boston.
So he's the only one. Him and Mike Looney will battle for that point at South Boston.
Well, potentially. Now, here's the other thing. If Caden Honeycutt happens to put it on pole at South Boston,
then you got 3 of them.
You got 3 of them. For the bonus point, there is no tiebreaker. You still had the most poles. Each would get a point.
Oh,
however,
fascinating.
Yes, if it comes down to the rule book reads very detailed in that sense.
No, it's fascinating. That's how tight this is, though, Tony. You're right. We're going to second and third tiebreakers in the rule book for 1 point. That's how tight this is. Bobby McCarty has got to feel really good about this. We know South Boston is in his wheelhouse. He won the big 200-lap race up there on the 4th of July. We know he knows what to do there. This one was a little bit of a mystery, and as I look down there, I see my buddy Alex Hayden saddled right up alongside of Bobby McCarty.
We are postman, and fantastic lap, and congratulations, pole position here at Wake County.
Hey, I felt we was good, but I didn't know it had that in it. But just got to thank all these guys, everybody at Autos by Nelson, Solid Right Carriers, BTS Tire and Wheel, Castrol, Chevrolet, just all these guys. They worked really hard, and I mean, that was a really good lap. The car felt really good, so we'll see what we got.
Hedgecock Racing Pole Award. As we stand down here, you and I kind of just both look up at the sky. A couple of raindrops begin to hit us down here. how difficult is it to be charged up, ready to go racing on a Saturday evening? Suddenly Mother Nature pays us a visit. We got to come back on a Sunday afternoon. Does that make things a little more difficult for you and the race team?
Not really. You know, it's just like almost like a vacation day. You know, you get a free Saturday to kind of hang around. We went to the go-kart track yesterday and had a little fun. So didn't really change much. We did get to run one race, but we went and found another. So, you know, it was good times yesterday. Got to hang out with a lot of guys in the infield that you don't really get to go do anything with other than race. So had a good time. Raised a little hell at the go-kart track, and now we're here today. We'll see what we can do.
That's Rush Hour Karting over there nearby Garner, North Carolina. Bobby McCarty, congratulations to him. Hedgecock pole winner here at Wake County Speedway.
Thank you, Alex. And yes, that's a very happy Bobby McCarty, and very different Bobby McCarty than what I heard from 2 nights ago, because that driver said, I'm not so sure what this race car is going to do. I'm afraid we might run into the same problems we ran into last week. And guess what? At least for now, for one lap, it is certainly fast enough, and that's half the game here, Steve.
Well, every time on the track is a battle. Every contest, whether it's a pole qualifying run or a race, is a contest. And we've had one contest today, and Bobby McCarty is 1 for 1. So I know they've got to feel good about it. The other thing is, they've got that good track position to start this race out. This is a bull ring, America's favorite bull ring, and good track position to start it off is very, very critical. We have a mix-up in the first 5 or 10 laps of this thing, and if some cars get dinged up, the likelihood is Bobby McCarty will be ahead of it. So he's putting himself in a really, really good spot, that's for sure, and this is going to be a great race. Cars Tour TV, www.Cars Tour TV. I know a lot of you have been watching on our Facebook Live and our social media streams. Well, you are going to need to log on to Cars Tour TV to see how this one plays out here from America's favorite bull ring. I have a hunch we're in for a real treat here tonight.
That we are. Quarter mile, $10,000 on the line. We haven't said it enough. $10,000 on the line. Green flag expected just after 5 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're watching on social media, we'll see you on the flip side. Get your butt to Wake County. If you can't, www.carstour.tv. Until then, we're signing off. And by the way, hey, teams, you can cover your cars if you're worried about that liquid sunshine that might blow through, but we're not worried about it overall. We might get a stray sprinkle, but we will be racing here tonight at Wake County.